What's with that?
Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall, where we throw ideas, see what sticks, and nurture those that do. I'm your host, Armando Leduc, an actor, entrepreneur, and coach, giving you insights that light up your world. We're here to explore the realms of business, marketing, and life, serving up a shot of inspiration with every episode. Ready to make ideas stick and grow them into something great? Let's dive in.
Welcome to Spaghetti on the Wall. This is Adrian Ferrara filling in for Armando Leduc. Today we are joined by Joshua B. Lee, who is the founder of Standout Authority, the co-creator of YOUmanize, and the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn. Joshua, welcome to the show.
That's it, Adrian. You know, again, thankfully I have enough different titles that I can go in and feel important.
Can we start off? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about Standout Authority?
Yeah, man. Adrian, for me, I'm a dad of 3. I've got 16, 13, and 2. So I'm hitting all the fun ages, right? That are all the exciting ages of all those things. My son's the oldest. I got 2 young girls after that. I'm going to be turning 50 here soon, which is, most people look at it with the mohawk. They're like, really? What's going on there? But, I've been doing this for a bit. And I give that reference, my friend, because, I've been doing what I've done for a long time. I consider that serial entrepreneur because I started my first company a little over 20 years ago with a little company that, depending on people's age that are listening, either know it or don't, called MySpace. So MySpace was one of my first clients. I helped them design one of the first social media ads to monetize their traffic. So that was a way, way, way long time ago. And then since then, I built multiple different companies. And, I spent a long time monetizing traffic. And, this is what we're taught, man. Hey, make money, be able to go through. I was deemed successful based on monetary value that a lot of people in this world look at it, but I didn't feel successful. And so about 10 years ago, I had a reset in my life where I kind of went through divorce, walked away from everything, and kind of reevaluated where I was at. And that led me to where I am today, which is Standout Authority, because I had spent so many years monetizing the web, and I didn't feel like I helped that many people. So I had to be able to shift. How can I actually add value, right? How can I educate, inspire, and draw people in, not sell them? How do we actually do that? And that's where Standout Authority was born, right? Really being able to highlight the human beings behind that brand. And, now not only getting to work with my wife, who left corporate about 4.5 years ago, we get to work with men and women, man, that I used to read their books on how to be able to start my own companies 20 years ago. And it's all about how do we actually create these conversations, especially in this AI world, and really, as you mentioned, humanize, a brand.
Yeah. Can we talk a little bit more about YOUmanize?
So we're on year 11 with Standout Authority.
Wow.
And it's amazing, right? Like really being able to go in on a platform like LinkedIn. And that's the vehicle, man. Like that's the vehicle that we use. What we do is that humanization of brand and really highlighting the human beings behind these brands, because I think that's missed in this world, right? Because you and I probably see it, and everyone listening, now more than ever, you either like a person or you don't. I mean, I didn't grow up that way where everything was so polarizing, where even families, right? Like we'd be like, oh, you like that guy? I'm out, right? And so we're seeing this shift. And so we had spent so many times building out these brands and building out the marketing for a lot of human beings. And we continue to be able to see like the right people always saw the value in what we did to be able to actually build advocates first, allow that byproduct become clients. But here's the thing, man. And when you talk about branding, there's no real way to quantify it, right? You can't be like, I spent $10,000 on branding and I got this exact ROI. As entrepreneurs, that's what everyone's like. I spend 10,000, I want to see my 10,000 back. Right. It doesn't happen with branding all the time because it has residual effects that go not only immediately, but long-term, especially when you're talking about SEO and visualization, and not just on the platform that you're building on. And so we kind of hit a point where it was like, how do we actually shift this? And this happened last year, where my wife and I were sitting down. I'm in Austin, Texas, but we got a place in Encinitas as well too. And we're having our kind of retreat. And we're like, how do we shift this? Right? Because we're seeing AI come in here, which is everyone's talking about AI. And we have CEOs now that are like, I fired 20,000 people. Yeah. And you're like, dude, like, what the hell? And so there had to be a better way. How do we actually empower human beings, right? How do we actually show these companies and even show others in a world that I think that we live in a trust recession now, right?
Mm.
And more so than not, people don't know what who to trust. I mean, dude, Adrian, I got so much content out there. Like, someone could probably take this video and use AI, call my mom or dad, and
Right.
be like, hey, I need $5,000, and like they wouldn't know the difference. That's how crazy it is right
Right.
now for a lot of people in this world. So we wanted to be able to build a platform that could help people really understand who they trust, and that's kind of the trust score, right? Like a FICO score for human beings.
Mm.
And so that's what YOUmanize is. YOUmanize. It's like that digital fingerprint that really shows who someone is, what they stand for, and why you should be able to trust them. Do they have, as their not only their content or their social analytics, but are other people talking about them? Are they actually using SSL certificates or trusted vendors if you're actually buying products from them, and really putting something out there? And especially for the bigger companies, like AWS is one of our bigger clients. And, I want to be able to actually empower the human beings there so they understand, hey, employee generated content is one of the most powerful pieces out there that you can do, because people trust employees, surprise,
Right.
surprise, more than they do the actual owners of the company. And so how do we actually show the employers that these people have value and their voices matter? And then in building their own personal brands, you empower them, make them feel better about themselves and what they've accomplished. So long story short, that's kind of what YOUmanize kind of came to be. And we're really excited about it because it's launching here next year. And we've spent a lot of time and effort really making it, because of course, you and I both know everyone's going to always try to, find the way to hack it, to beat the system, to beat the numbers. And I had to make it so it would be so clear cut that you're calling something a trust score, you better be able to trust it.
Right. And all of that kind of goes back to this notion, and I mean, I loved this notion that there is no B2B, there is no B2C, there's only H2H. Can you talk a little bit about that concept?
Adrian, man, this is something I kind of noticed a long time ago, right? I mean, this is something I've been using for years. And I mean, B2B, business to business, or B2C, business to consumer, we're all told, well, that's how we do advertising. That's how you have to be able to figure out your marketing. And being a guy that's been doing this for over 20 years, guess what, bro? Like, guys like me 20 plus years ago came up with B2B and B2C to diversify ad spend.
Mm.
I mean, like, let's be honest, every company is run by another human being. Most marketers don't see that. They forget that opportunity. So even if I'm talking to a major company, you're still talking to the person that actually runs it, because the company, at least now until AI takes over the world,
Right.
can't speak for itself. And so that's where it's H to H. And that's what really allowed me to be able to connect, because in marketing and in this world, everyone's always like, what algorithm do I have to beat? How do I actually go through here? And they're always trying to find the next hack or the next trick to be able to beat the algorithm. And they forgot that there's one algorithm that doesn't change, bro. Like, it's the algorithm that stays consistent, that it only evolves slowly over time, which is the human algorithm. And so that's really where it kind of came from. It's like, how do I actually understand and leverage and play into that human algorithm? And it's amazing what we can do, because now we've been doing our company for over 10 years, like I said, and I
Yeah.
haven't had to change what we do, because again, it's just connecting to human beings. It's the things that, honestly, man, like my mom taught me how to treat other human beings. We're just doing it online.
Right. Right. That's great, right?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that. My mom taught me how to treat other human beings. We're doing it online. That's the tagline of the business right there.
That's it, man. That's it.
Now, can we dive a little bit deeper into when clients do come to Standout Authority, when they will eventually come to YOUmanize,
Yeah.
what are some of the pain points and problems that they're experiencing that you're helping them solve?
Man, here's the thing. I continue to be able to see it. I've been beating the LinkedIn drum for many, many years. And now all of a sudden everyone's like, hey, oh my God, this platform, LinkedIn. And I'm like, yeah, it's amazing. And, it's been around for over 21 years. Most people still don't know how to use it. And if they've tried to use it or hired someone, honestly, all I did was go in and spam all their contacts and usually ruin their personal brand. And it's horrible. This is why a lot of people go, oh, LinkedIn, I hate that platform. I just get pitched all the time. They're like, hey, Adrian, you're wearing a shirt. Me too. Let's connect. And they pitch you 2 seconds later. Right? You seen it, it's come on. Like we all know it's there. And so like what we actually come in and do is like, if you're working with, and I used to say this because it's shifted, right? I used to say, if you're working with high-end, high-value relationships, they don't always find themselves being caught in the funnel and in the marketing that we're all been taught, right? We're the ones that built it. We use them. So we understand when we are in a funnel, are in, automation. And so you have to be able to build relationships, have conversations. And that starts with being able to trust someone. And so that's what we get to be able to do. We get to work with men and women from Fortune 10 C-level executives to amazing humans that have been doing what they do for many, many years to help them educate, inspire, and draw in their audience, to get their audience to help choose them, not be sold into them. And so that's what we do. And we take over their LinkedIn, become that brand, and we help them identify their audience. And their pain points are, man, I've been doing Facebook, or I'm doing this, and I just don't think my audience is there. Or I've been dancing on TikTok, and for some reason, people aren't hiring me anymore, to do their marketing. I don't know why. My dance steps aren't kicking in. And I'm like, dude, there's better ways. And so like, that's where we actually step in. And, Adrian, the bigger thing is, man, I think we're going to be able to start helping everyone now more than ever. People don't realize how powerful LinkedIn is now in this AI driven world, because here's the big thing. You need to be found and felt at the same time, because there's so many people doing the same thing over and over. And with AI, people go, oh, I can do that. Why do I need to hire anyone? That's why people are coming to us now, because have you heard AEO? Have you heard that term yet?
I have not.
Okay. So AEO is the new leverage that we're seeing. SEO is like getting indexed on Google, being able to go in. What we're actually seeing is AEO is answer engine optimization. The days of 10 listings with the top 2 being sponsored are going away. Like if you've used Gemini or like ChatGPT Atlas, I mean, like the younger generation are just using AI to be able to search what they're looking for, and they're getting an answer. Well, how do we actually become that answer? Well, it's being able to understand how to get indexed into these, AI systems, these large language models, LLMs. And because LinkedIn and what we do, that humanization of brand, AI looks for human beings, not just companies, to be able to give them the answer. Who's been doing something for the long time, consistently over time, that's trusted. And so when we come in on LinkedIn, we're able to actually build out their profile and get them indexed, because one, Microsoft owns LinkedIn. So now we're knocking off one of the top, if you're in the corporate world, Copilot, right? Now you're LinkedIn, they automatically use LinkedIn for their generative search indexing to be able to go in and help, because it's a trusted platform. Well, there's another option too. Microsoft, some people get mad at me when I say this, but Microsoft kind of runs, controls OpenAI. They're one of the biggest investors. We saw this with Sam Altman when everything kind of changed and shifted. Microsoft took them in immediately and shifted things around. And so because of that, OpenAI is indexed and integrated into LinkedIn as well. So now you're talking about all that content on LinkedIn, from profile to your content to everything, is now getting indexed in OpenAI. The last piece of the puzzle, because there's so many different AI systems out there, but the top 3 are Copilot, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and the last one is Gemini. Well, if you ever search for, like, Adrian, if I look you up, or everyone here, I want you to do me a favor, look up Adrian, on Google. I guarantee you, if he's got a LinkedIn profile, it will be either the number one listing when you look him up, or one of the top 3. And I don't care who's listening, right? Everyone listening, look yourself up, look me up, right?
Yeah.
Because of that indexing, it goes in there, and now we've got high indexing from my very trusted domain, and Google is now using that as well too for Gemini. And so that's why people are coming to us, because they want to be the answer for the next decade. Adrian, dude, we are in a world right now where, let me ask you, do you use an Apple iPhone?
Absolutely.
Okay. Do you know that, as everyone tells us that doesn't use one, they're not the best phones out there?
That's what they keep telling me this.
All the Android people tell us that, right? but we use it because in 2006, Apple became the answer, right? They were the answer, and we were like, okay, well, they're the answer. We stay with them, right? We're with them. I'm on, number 17 of my phones, right? This is another opportunity like 2006. We have the opportunity, if we can actually leverage this AEO, answer engine optimization, especially through a vehicle like LinkedIn, to be able to humanize our brand. We can now become the answer in these large language models for AI for the next decade. And so that's why people are coming to us now.
Yeah. I mean, that's incredibly powerful, and we're just seeing the tip of that iceberg, right?
We are. And I mean, look, if it's AI is going to index me, if I let that do it by itself, it might tell you I'm a dentist. Hell, who knows, right? Like sometimes it hallucinates and makes some things up. I want to make sure that I'm going to be the author of my own narrative. And so that's where we kind of step in. Not only I do it for myself, which is, I'll be honest, dude, it's crazy. When I look myself up now, I am considered one of the top 3 experts in the world on LinkedIn. And that's because of not only the work I've done for so many years, but what we're doing in leveraging LinkedIn and AEO. And so like, I want everyone here as well to be that author and to be able to control their narrative, because someone's going to do it. Might as well be you.
Right. Well, and we're talking about LinkedIn, and I guess that segues perfectly into my next question. I got to ask, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn, how did this nickname come about?
Oh man, it's a good question, right? Like it's not a self-given name, so I'll put that out there. I wasn't like, I'm gonna call myself the dopamine dealer. And it's interesting because most people, if you follow any type of social, and you hear like, oh, all these social media, they're hitting us with dopamine, it's messing us up. Dopamine without direction is insanity, right? That's social media, because that's what they're trying to be able to give. They want to hit you with a whole bunch of dopamine, no direction. But dopamine with intention creates flow state, creates opportunity, creates connection. And that's kind of what I have done. And I was on a podcast many years ago with some good friends of mine, and I explained the process of what we do. Like I said, the same things my mom taught me how to treat other human beings, understanding that human algorithm online. And the podcast came out, and they were like, Joshua B. Lee, the dopamine dealer of LinkedIn. And it kind of stuck. Because I mean, that's what we're doing. We're putting dopamine hits with intention to build connection, to build conversation, to build relationship. And that's what we're looking for in this world that we live in, especially post-COVID. Right. We want to be able to feel connected to other human beings. And once I figured that out, once I understood that we have that ability, even through the podcast, through online, through LinkedIn, whatever it is, it was amazing to be able to see the opportunities that we were able to create.
Well, you mentioned that, you had kind of helped pioneer some of the, first monetized social media ads on MySpace. And I mean, it's funny. I just a quick aside, I was speaking with my nephew not too long ago, and he was, messing with something on TikTok. He said, I got this really sick idea. I said, what is it, man? He said, well, wouldn't it be sweet if like people could go to your TikTok page and they could like hear your favorite song, like you had it posted like permanently on your page? Yeah. And I was like, oh, how quickly we've forgotten MySpace, how quickly it comes and goes. But to that,
that's point, it, man. It's human nature is cyclical, right? And I mean, like that's that whole piece that people forget. They're always trying to figure out, well, that's the next hack or trick. But as human beings, we innately want the same thing consistently. Like it doesn't change. And so even like your nephew and things like that, they see that. The problem is adults, a lot of times we make too much, everything too much freaking complex, and we overthink everything. We forget at our human nature. That's what people are looking for, right? And he's right. Music connects a lot of us, and it's as basic as that.
Well, and that was kind of my underlying question was, are there any sort of trends or anything like that? You mentioned that sort of cyclical nature. Are there any trends in the kind of marketing and ad space that you have seen come and go and have a resurgence? Is there anything that you've seen sort of make that cyclical round?
I mean, it's in the ad space. I mean, look, we're getting back into it. I think direct mail is coming back. People want to be, let me tell you, I used to go to my mailbox. I'm like, oh my God, a whole bunch of junk mail, right? Like how nice it would be to actually get something from someone that I actually know, like, or trust. Right. Because for a while it was, direct mail was huge. And then it went away because we had email. Well, that's faster. That's more optimized. Adrian, come on.
That's
how
it.
much how much spam do you delete on a daily basis?
Oh God. Yeah. It's a nightmare.
I probably delete more spam than I actually get real emails from anybody.
Right.
So, it's a nightmare. And so, like, that's where I see that opportunity coming back in. Now, I'm not going to tell you, I don't think cold calling is coming back. The last thing I need is for him to call me up and be like, hey, you get that 2-second pause. You're like, oh, hang up. I should never answer that phone call. But like that connection, right? That's someone, that handwritten note, being able to come in, being able to see that someone took the time out to be able to put a stamp on something. Like, I think we're starting to appreciate that effort again, because right now, man, I took, I remember, like, we go back all those days. Like, I was so proud when I had built my first servers for my one of my first companies. And I was on the backbone of the internet in LA. And I look over, I'm like, oh, there's PlayStation servers right there. Look how close I am. Like, that took a long time to get done. Man, the younger generations, like your nephew, they can spin up an app, a website, a company in a couple minutes now.
Right.
And I think we're losing that intention, that appreciation for what goes into it. And so I think that's where some of this old marketing is coming back in. I mean, that's the same thing that I'm doing on LinkedIn, right? Like, the human algorithm online, man, is to like, comment, share, post, like, comment, share, post. That's what we've been conditioned over the years, because they want us to stay in this pattern. When you actually kind of go back in, and one of the first things I do is I start off, appreciate someone for something that they take for granted, that they take as just as normal, and reach out. Hey, Adrian, I saw you look at my LinkedIn profile. I just want to reach out and say thank you. Or, Adrian, man, I saw you like my recent post, man. Thank you so much. And then ask them, like, love to find out what pushed you to engage. Or, Adrian, man, love to find out why you looked me up on LinkedIn. Because what we're doing is starting a conversation. Everyone wants to be able to go from, I found my ideal avatar, my client, pitch. And if it's a numbers game, dude, a numbers game is just a different way to call spamming, right? That's, you get one sale, they're like, yay, well, you pissed off. If you did 1,000 times, you pissed off 999 people. What if you treated them like human beings, right? You had conversations, built relationships, created opportunity, whatever that looks like, right? Now, even if you still get the one sale, you created 99 advocates because you treat them like human beings, and they might not be ready now, but dude, they might walk up to the next person like, man, I talked to Josh, he's awesome. Hey, you ever looking for LinkedIn? Reach out to that guy, right? Or, man, Adrian is an amazing podcast host. You got to listen to everything he's doing, because it's just awesome on the conversation we had. So I think that's what we're seeing come back to now.
Right. That human element becomes important again, right?
I think now more than ever with AI, like, everyone's going in all in AI, but I think we're going to see a premium for the human aspect of it.
Right. And I'm curious, when say there's a business, or, a business owner that they really need the help of a company like Standout Authority or a company like YOUmanize, but they don't reach out. They just keep on doing what they've done. What does that look like for them?
That's the definition of insanity, and especially in today's world. What it looks like for them, they're on their way to being forgotten. I think this is the biggest thing, is that if they don't realize where we're going in this new age, in this new world, if they've relied on someone clicking off a website, and not actually being able to interact and be able to start a conversation, create an opportunity on site within the context of wherever that person is, if they're on LinkedIn. Because before it's like, oh, I've got to get them off site. That's changing, right? Like, people don't leave. Like, we're in a 0-click mentality now, man, because I can tell you, like, if you go to ChatGPT, you get your answer, you're done. If you're using Gemini hooked into Google right now, at the top, it gives you your answer. You're not clicking on a website anymore, right? So if you can't actually go through there, this is the opportunity for everyone. You are moving towards a world where you are going to be forgotten. And if you're adding value to this world, if you are trying to be able to actually truly change that, like, you can't hide. I've done that in my own world where I thought, oh, I'm making enough money behind the curtain, I'm going to be good. That's not the case anymore, right? I missed a lot of opportunity back then, 20 years ago, to create change in this world, to create opportunity. And everyone listening right now, you add value to this world for who you are, not just what your business is or what your product is. And now is the time more than ever to show up and shine. Because if you could tell your story, if someone could see where you came from, what you've done, you could inspire someone else. And that's more than what we all could. That's all we all look for in today's world.
Yeah, that's an amazing message. And, you discussed sharing a story, and that leads perfectly into my next question, which was, when you think back on all of the business owners and businesses and clients that you have helped through Standout Authority, is there a particular story that stands out of either a person or a business that you saw a really positive transformation in as sort of a result of your help and guidance?
So this one always hits home. It's such a beautifully structured question because I think people forget that, right? They're like, oh, well, tell me, the biggest business deal you did, or, like, tell me,
Right.
and it's like, okay, this is where we got to shift off the money aspect. Money should be a byproduct of what you do, not the forefront. It
Mm.
will drive us. It drives most of us crazy because that's what we were taught. Oh, go for the money, man. You're always going to be shooting for more money. So I was really blessed. A good friend of mine and now past client, by the name of Dan Sullivan. He's an OG in the marketing world. He runs a company called Strategic Coach. I had the opportunity to be able to create his LinkedIn profile and be able to build the strategy so he could be able to build that audience on there. And Adrian, I'll never forget this, right? Because as I told you, we're trying to get advocates for the partners that we work with, not clients, because clients is a numbers game,
Mm.
right? But an advocate can bring me thousands of opportunities.
Right.
And so we reached out, and a lot of us in this world that have done well and have an audience, have a following, we forget about all the people that make us who we are, allowed us to be able to do what we do because they know, like, and trust us now, right? Because we showed up. And so with Dan, I remember someone reached out. We on him was like, hey, just want to reach out and say thank you so much for liking my recent post. Right. Remember, I said you
Right.
create those stopgaps. You appreciate them from something they take for granted. Adrian, his message I'll never forget it, man. And it makes me pause a little bit because the message back we got was, Dan, you'll never know what this means to me. Today I plan on it being my last.
Whoa.
And by you showing me to appreciate the things I took for granted, I will continue on. Thank you. You want to talk about change? You want to talk about shift? That is why I do what I do for my clients, because you never know how you affect someone's life in this world and what you could do. Something as simple as just saying thank you can do. Like, I see these things happen all the time because I am blessed to work with a lot of very well-known individuals. And when you get someone like your hero or someone that you follow or that's changed your business or changed your life, just to reach out and to acknowledge you, it's amazing, that ripple effect. And so when you ask me something that always stands true of what I've done, man, I've helped one of my partners, a good friend of mine, save lives.
Yeah.
Yes, there's so many other things that they can do. Yes. Yeah, we've helped them get clients. Yes, we've helped them close businesses. Yes, but again, byproduct. And that's where I want everyone to be able to kind of see the power of that humanization of brand and being able to allow people to understand who you are and who you have been and where you're going. Because most people see us this, Adrian, it's like, oh, here's, not going to try and toot my own, here's Josh and here's me. And there's this gap between us and our audience, right?
Right.
But the more we humanize who we are, where we came from, like my first job, right? Working at Chili's as a server, right? And being able to go in and getting fired for giving soup away to, a girl that I was trying to be around, like that. They're like, oh, Josh worked at Chili's. Me too. Boom. Commonality.
Right.
So that's what we get to be able to do. And I think that's what's lost in today's world.
Well, Joshua, this has been an absolutely incredible conversation. If anybody out there listening could use your help, could use the help of Standout Authority, could use the help of YOUmanize, could use a little hit of dopamine on LinkedIn, where can the people find you?
I mean, surprise, surprise, right? I love everyone reaching out to me on LinkedIn. Again, I want to be able to start conversations, but don't just hit that button to connect, right? I'm not playing Pokemon on LinkedIn. I'm not trying to collect them all, right? I want to be able to start that relationship. So reach out, tell me, right? Why do you listen to Spaghetti in the Wall, right? Why do you love Adrian or Armando, right? Like, because if they tell me that, like, hey, I listen to your podcast episode, this is why I listen in. Not only does that allow me to get to know them, but it also lets me get to know you better as well, too, brother. So, that's an amazing way. Of course, Standout Authority as well. You can go there, standoutauthority.com, but I'd rather be able to start building those relationships with the people that are listening.
Absolutely. Well, Joshua, thank you so much again for joining us. This has been amazing.
Thank you, my friend.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. This has been Spaghetti on the Wall, presented by LeDuc Entertainment. Thanks again, Joshua.